Good morning, folks, and absolutely awesome to be back this Wednesday. The last time we spoke about, the dirty dozen, the 12 challenges for a new manager. So today, what we are going to do is we are going to explore this a little bit more, and we will talk about, the couple of areas which are really critical here. And just to recall our previous discussions, we had talked about these 12 of them. Today, what we are going to do is we are going to focus on two aspects of the dirty dozen, which means that I'm trying, how do managers strike that balance between being directive, being very task oriented, and being very nice or being very relationship oriented. So that's what we'll touch about today. So I'll stop sharing the screen so that we have registered what the objective of today's session is, right? I recall the days when I started out as a manager, uh, and I think I was probably a little bit guilty of being more relationship oriented rather than task oriented. So if I recall back, maybe turn the clock back 30 odd years. But I think one fundamental thing which I did quite correct at that point of time was to build that trust, the underlying trust, which led to a lot of good things. Now, when we look at two extremes, we look at an extreme case of a manager who's very relationship oriented. And perhaps this could be because of the way he or she is, or it could be also because of the fact that he or she wants to get that popularity, wants to garner that support. And in a way, it's almost to the extent that I'm desperate to please my subordinates, right? Or other people who are reporting to me. The other thing is the taskmaster, very focused on outcomes, very focused on the task, what's going to happen. And we have seen leaders like this. We have seen not just first-time managers, but we have seen more than that, people who are task-oriented. So the whole objective for you as a first-time manager is not to define yourself as being task-oriented or relationship-oriented, but being able to flex this style across various people. So, for example, you may choose to be directive or very, very task oriented with a certain section of the people who are reporting to you. Maybe the people who are poor performers, maybe the people who are not motivated enough, and so on. And you might be extremely relationship oriented or extremely delegating or entrusting with people who are very high on the performance scale and on the motivation scale. And you would have people in between. So you could have somebody who's, let's say, a beginner, full of enthusiasm, wants to learn, etc., wherein you would probably maintain some kind of a relationship, but be very focused and very, almost like a coach on the tasks. And you may have somebody who's thoroughly experienced, but for some reason has fallen into a low mindset, and your approach to that person will be very different. So I think there are a couple of variables here. One is being task oriented, one is being relationship oriented. The second is looking at the skills of the people and maybe the morale of the people. And depending on that, I take a sort of a view on how my leadership style would be. Now, the important thing here is that we are not talking about a fixed leadership style. We are talking about an agile leadership style. Before we leave, would like to pose a question, and that could come in the chat box, which is there below you, right? So let's take an example, and we'll call her Dolly. Dolly reports to Sanjay. Uh, Dolly is been a mediocre performer, just below acceptable limits. And of late, her morale has gone down to the extent that Dolly is spreading a little bit of a toxic atmosphere around, right? Now, you as Sanjay or you as Sanjay's manager, what would be your guidance to Sanjay how to handle Dolly? Repeating, Dolly is low skill, low morale, and is creating toxicity in the atmosphere. So we leave this answer for the next time. See you again next Wednesday. Bye for now.